Hi guys, welcome back. And if you're just listening, welcome to our podcast. So, we have a name for the podcast now, at Unfiltered, and yeah, just like the name implies, everything's going to be like unfiltered. Even this recording, I'm not going to filter it. So, today's episode was not born out of heartbreak. It came from laughter. I was scrolling on Instagram the other day and I stumbled upon this video of an older couple, like a much older couple, and they were just playfully, roasting each other in the kitchen. And you could tell that they've been together for years, I mean, decades even. But what stood out wasn't just how comfortable they were, it was how in love they still were. And in that moment, it hit me. That is the difference. Say, love alone won't carry you through life. I mean, being in love, choosing each other every day, that's what makes it last. And that is what I want to talk about today. I think today's episode might land differently for different people. Some people might relate to it, maybe even too well, and some might find a form of clarity in it. And for some, it might just be another perspective. Either way, I hope it makes you think, feel, and I hope above all, you feel seen. So there's a kind of breakup no one really talks about. Not the toxic ones, not the cheating scandals, but the kind where you leave someone, not because you stop caring, but because you know deep down you can't love them the way they deserve. And that's what this is about. So there was this lady here. She was amazing, Everything that looks perfect on paper, smart, kind, thoughtful. She was what you would call a wife in the making. But me, I wasn't just a prospective husband in love. I was just there. Of course, I cared about her deeply. I loved her. But I wasn't in love with her, and that's the difference. That's what changes, everything. Because being loved quietly, halfway, out of obligation, it starts to feel like a chore. And relationships shouldn't feel like chores. Love isn't supposed to be heavy from the beginning. I knew I would be like a great father, someday if I was with her. I would show up, provide, protect, but I wasn't going to be a good husband to her, and she deserved more than just motherhood. She deserved joy, romance, butterflies, and not just a man who's always trying to feel what he doesn't. So I left, not with fireworks or a clean goodbye, just disappeared. Let her think I was the bad guy. Because I thought that would hurt her less. I didn't want her waking up one day in a marriage where the silence was louder than love. I didn't want her wondering why her husband never looked at her like she was the only one in the room. I didn't want her resenting me 10 years in. I would rather she hated me now than hate herself later for staying with someone who never really chose her fully. So, my mother said she deserved an explanation, and well, it was right, so I tried. But even then, my words felt foreign, like I was trying to make sense of feelings I couldn't untangle. She called me an hypocrite, said I ghosted her while pushing communication. And of course, she was right. I'm an hypocrite in some ways, but I didn't leave because I didn't care. I left because I cared too much to let her shrink into a version of herself who settles. Because we all know sometimes love isn't loud enough to keep two people together. Sometimes love needs to be felt, not just understood. And if I stayed, she would have never felt it. So to her, if you ever hear this, You deserve a love that make you feel alive, not one that make you question your worth. And I pray one day, when the pain softens, you would understand that living was the kindest thing that I could do. So to anyone listening, don't stay with someone out of fear or guilt. Don't shrink your heart because someone looks good on paper. Be with someone that makes you feel fully, freely, fearlessly. Because love should be loud. Louder than doubts, louder than what if, louder than good enough. So before we end this, I want to ask you something. Are you in love with the person you are with, or do you just love them because they fit the perfect picture that you have in your head? Because they look like the right choice on paper? You deserve more than just comfort, and so do they. But remember, make sure that you are not just avoiding the truth. Make sure you are not always running. Yeah. So if this made you feel something, share it with someone, and maybe have that hard conversation you've been avoiding.